How's everyone doing tonight? I hope you're well, folks. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome to the Kill Pete strategy. I'm Pete. I'm a top player in Risk Global Domination. And today we have, by their grace and generosity, SMG Studios. The Risk developers have chosen to spend their precious time hanging out with us. We are very grateful to have them. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in.
Hello.
SMG.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hello. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. I'm excited to play with you yet again.
Mm.
I'm excited to get some of the people's questions answered. We got a lot of people in here tonight. Always exciting to see. Welcome in, everybody. Gonna have a fun show. Perhaps we should start with a game.
That's good.
Okay.
Go for it. So,
would you like me to set it up?
Yep, you can drive, Pete.
Yeah. Yes, please.
All right. So we're going to do some Dune maps, folks. We have some brand new Dune maps. What's your favorite Dune map?
Oh, who wants to go first?
First
I already
question.
know.
Thanks. Yeah, Arakeen. The one I wish I was good at is Arakeen Residence. But yeah, Arakeen's good.
Arakeen or Arakeen Residence? Which one are we starting with?
Arakeen.
Arakeen? All right. Arakeen
Yeah.
proper it is. Doing a little progressive. Do a little alliances, so you guys can work together. And I will.
Or destroy each other.
Or just no.
Yeah.
No, only friendly work. Okay, so I will send you you guys' code in case you can't see. Get out of here, not young me. You can't play with the devs. Come on. All right, the code is RUCF4.
Sweet.
Look at all of those red checks. And who are we waiting for? Who's our last? Who's our last victim?
Wait, Chlorine, Brett doesn't have the tips.
I have like counts from texting, so I won't bother to get them all.
Good luck, good luck. So, our first question, and this one was not actually sourced by the people, but we're asking it anyways because I know that this is on top of everyone's mind. What is the best thing about Australia? Do you all love shrimps on the Barbie? Does Santa wear shorts or a woolly tunic around Christmas time? Oh no, Chloe, no.
Oh, Chloe.
All right, second time's the charm.
We're not professionals at this, Pete. Best not to ask questions during that ready up screen.
Just clicking buttons, it takes a lot out of you.
We jumping out?
Q9Z. Yeah, we want everyone to play.
Yeah. Bring Chloe in. Can't defeat her that quickly.
Get out of here. Nice. Kyle says, how did I get the camera set up? Are you impressed or what? Doesn't this look great? I hope they don't take up too much of the shot, though.
Oh.
That's my concern. We might cover too much of the map. But
what's the code again?
Code is RQQ9Z.
Or Z if you're Australian.
Sorry. All right, this time.
I'm going to ready up first, I promise.
All right, I actually am curious to know if you were Santa in the middle of the summer, would you still dress for cold weather? I guess you're going back to the North Pole, right?
No. You wear shorts.
Shorts, okay.
Come to Australia, wear board shorts.
That's the rule?
It's sort of funny and weird here. And Christmas time, all the shops and all the imagery around Santa is still very, very wintry, right? Like big, thick felt costumes and hats and things, which is bizarre because for us it's like the scorching heat of summer. It's barbecue season.
Scorching sounds like a bit of an exaggeration.
Depends on where you live.
Yeah, fair
enough. All the Christmas cards have him in his big woolies, but on the beach in shorts, which is quite a juxtaposition.
You listen to music about Christmas carols about snow and stuff.
Yeah.
There's actually a very famous one for Jingle Bells in the snow down the pub.
So, what I would like to know is what is all of your favorite games?
We have to say Risk, don't we?
Do you?
Yeah.
I just want to say, I don't have a gun to your head about that. You don't have to say.
Do I have to limit myself to one? If I take a Risk off, I've got to take Risk off the table. I reckon it'd be, because I've thought about this a little bit in case you asked. I thought it'd be, when I was a young man, it would have been the original UFO Enemy Unknown and Jagged Alliance 2, and as an old man, something called Mordheim City of the Damned. Although I'm not sure many people have heard of that. That's a real Warhammer deep cut.
Yeah, I was gonna think it's like a bit of a B-side, but no, the influences and the things that inform you guys, with the design decisions, I find very interesting. Can I ask how long you have been deving?
Game deving or deving?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some of us have been with this company for 18 years, deving in various forms. Yeah, some of us are a bit older as well and been deving before that. So as we have a range, SMG has a range of people straight out of university or just hobby coders or designers as well. I mean, there's a whole range of staff from the design through QA. All important. It's not just the devs that produce this game. So you have a whole range. The new ideas and the old hats that try and keep things stable. It's a range.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of experience. And this question, so preferred console, is that like of today's consoles, or what are we thinking? Preferred consoles of all time?
Game Boy.
Nice. That's a very classic.
I want to say
Advance, Dom. Which one?
Yeah, sorry, what?
Game Boy or Game Boy Advanced?
Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color.
The OG, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say PC, but if we're thinking all time, Game Gear, and that was massively
Virtual
underrated.
Boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Virtual Boy was so bad. I remember playing it at a Toys R Us, and it gave me a headache immediately.
I feel like you've got to have like a little love for your first console, and mine was a SNES, so I don't know. Super Nintendo has got to be.
Oh.
Because it was the one I played my first games on.
Don't tell me I'm the old man here. We had an old NES. I still have one, actually. Still works too.
If
Nice.
you're not jealous of your friend's Pong game, then no, you're not the old man.
No,
Pete.
fair enough. That's quite a memory, huh?
It is a memory.
Were you any good at it?
Friends in Scotland. No, it's only when we visited, we were able to go all the time and see how much we could squeeze in while parents were chatting for half an hour. But yeah, that's the first one I probably remember.
Yeah.
But after that, it was just PCs when everything came out with PCs for me.
First thing we had as a
Spectrum.
kid was an Intellivision, which I forget who. Someone in chat probably can answer this for me. Who produced Intellivision?
What?
But it was like the same era as Atari. Also, I'm gonna hit that, but you get a one turn warning there. No, you can move through me, right? It's all good. Okay,
If you're Canadian, the Trash 80 would have been one of your favorites, wouldn't it?
which is this?
The Trash 80? The TRS 80 sold through RS Studios. That was about the same era.
Oh, okay. It was produced by Mattel. Thank you guys. All right, so what we did was we sourced a bunch of questions from all sorts of places. I asked a bunch of content creators what they would like to know, what you can answer. I'm not trying to cross any lines, so please feel free to decline. But we did send them out your way, and this is what I got back, guys. So this is the stuff that hopefully doesn't lead us to a conversational dead end. We got community source questions. I know Spud did them live on his stream, so I got a bunch from content creators. I got a bunch from my own YouTube community. We did a couple community posts. So in no particular order, but starting with maps, because we are here celebrating the Dune map pack. When building a risk map, what does the team think are qualities of good or bad maps? What do you draw inspiration for map themes and layouts from?
I can jump in if we wanted to go like from a design perspective, I guess, because I'll work fairly closely with some of the designers. Lots of different places, right? So with Dune, obviously we had some really, really cool IP to work with, and a lot of these maps, we got some wonderful reference images from the partner studio, Legendary, so we were able to kind of recreate them as close to the real sort of film world as possible. We tweaked them a little to make them good for gameplay because some of the sizing probably wasn't going to be as good, but it was super fun to do that and pull from sort of very clear references. But then some of our other maps have actually just been completely team idea generated. So the Resistor is Futile map pack, which is one of my favorite ones. I loved all the concepts for that. That was actually like a whole team brainstorm. A lot of those ideas came directly from the devs, and I think they worked really, really well. So yeah, different sources, right? We'll love to work with IP, but also just as a team coming up with ideas together can be some of the most fun maps to make.
Yeah, I can imagine that this one was particularly enjoyable because of all the hype around the movies. And just the IP in general, right? Dune is so super cool. So, what sort of other things do you guys use to draw inspiration from vis-a-vis maps? Oh no! That's my vibe.
I don't know if anyone else wants to jump in. I mean, there's lots of different things, right? So we keep an eye on like what maps are most popular. We try and do a bit of diversity with size. I know people have been asking for like the mega maps, and we do want to do them, like the bigger maps, but we try and keep things diverse as well. So we've got different size maps in different packs. If we've got popular ones, which will advanced versions are always on the cards for those because we know people like to play the advanced versions. When we're designing the map, our game designer always tries to make it, as good for gameplay as possible and good for different kinds of gameplay. So not all maps geared towards FFA games or 1v1 games. So lots of different bits and lots of different people will give input. We've got a very knowledgeable QA team who will robustly playtest the maps to make sure there's not any like not fun choke points in maps as much as we can, or if the map's a bit chaotic, it's still fun to play. So I guess inspiration for gameplay can come from different people and just trying to make sure we're servicing all the different kinds of players in Risk, because we know we've got a pretty diverse player group.
Yeah, without a doubt.
We have some fun fun meetings every month or two, don't we? Where everyone gets together and gets their ideas for maps, and some ideas get a bit stupid and weird and stuff. But that's quite good, and a very big document, don't we? A huge big document with all the ideas we've had in the past that we go back and have a look at every now and then too. So it's a good one.
I know Stu keeps trying to get us all on board with a spherical map one day.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
look, I'm glad someone else brought that one up first. That's something I
What,
haven't
like
shut up.
you'd have to rotate it to?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay,
Yeah,
right. You
I
have to
know.
sort of think in. No, I love this. Think in 3 dimensions. Sure.
Yeah, it's.
I'm not sure
I'm
it's
just.
happening anytime soon,
Yeah.
but it's a good idea.
I'm working on trying to make a strong case for it. I feel like if I just beat everyone down enough over time, they'll give in and let me build it. I think it's one of those things where it could be really novel, or the loss in readability, not being able to see at a glance what's happening on something on the other side of the continent it'd be harder to play for sure. But I'm just obsessed with just answering the question of how good the spectacle would be. Like a day night. Like you show like the you showed like a day night cycle on it and all
Cool.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the only person. Just saying, it's been mentioned by at least one other person in the Discord, so I can't be the only one thinking about it. But it's one of those dreams I'm holding for the future.
Well, one of the things I've found that if you just repeat yourself enough, it eventually becomes the truth, right? So sounds like you're on the right track.
Yeah. Eventually, my plan with most things is eventually, if you talk long enough, eventually people will agree just to shut you up, right?
Yeah. It would be the loudest guy yelling into the microphone, right? Do you all have a favorite map?
Ooh.
Don't say Alcatraz.
No, I feel compelled to say any map that has Australia with Tasmania in it.
Yep.
All right. So that's it. So I love like the advanced like Australia, with anything that has Tasmania. Just
representing for Taz, yes.
Exactly. In the original Risk, Tasmania wasn't there, and I remember what was it? There was a thread someone showed it was an episode of Bluey where someone showed they must have been playing what looked like a game of Risk, and you could see on it on the little drawing they had of the world map, you could see that Australia was on it and it had Tassie, and then I pointed it out and someone said they had fixed it and they've removed it. So it's a bit of an ongoing joke that the island didn't make it.
Oh, I mean, poor New Zealand isn't even on the original Risk board at all.
Oh, yeah.
It's a rough one.
We're a state, they're a country,
Superfluous islands, really. Nobody cares about this part of the world. Come on. Anyone else? Any other favorite maps?
Mine's orbital objectives. I really loved that space map. I love jumping around the solar system. I really liked the Imperium map for the same reason. I don't know. I just find that very satisfying to play.
I've still got a soft spot for emergency calls only too. That was the first. I think that was the first map I ever implemented, and I took the assignment too literally. When coming up with the names, because it was based on an old phone, and so I started looking up the manuals from Chinese factories that manufactured them to find out what were the names of different chips and components, and just took that bit way too seriously to the point where I was trying to name every resistor correctly. So I've still got a soft spot for that one.
Yeah, I liked those visually. They were very cool looking maps.
Yeah. Oh, the rubber. It was during a game, a play testing session with devs and QA and the artists when we were just sort of pitching in ways, just spitballing as we were playing it. And I was always sort of came up with the idea of the rubber mat with the screwdriver and the screws in it to give it this meta context, and that just changed it all for me. Just loved how it looked.
Yeah, that screwdriver stood out to me as well. Or the one with orbital objectives where you can actually pan back quite far and see that it's just a display. Was this Operation Atom or something? That was super neat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The space console thing that our art team came up with that, and that was really cool when they first showed it, because it was just kind of an idea that they had and they rolled with it.
All right, so this one I feel I smell this one was a plant, but we're gonna go with it because I think I know the answer. When playtesting the game, is there a specific dev who's the best at Risk? Do they influence how you approach map designs to allow for that skill expression?
I don't know if
gonna
answer this
Yeah,
one.
sorry, look.
Very
Josh. It's Josh. When we first saw this question, I just said,
So
all alliances are against Josh for a reason.
Yeah, Josh is our other producer, and he is an online chess player as well.
Oh, cool.
So he's probably one of our.
master chess player, right?
Yeah, something along those lines.
What are the chances we can get him into some tournaments?
You'd have to ask him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Peer pressure him into it.
Every time we do one of these, I keep begging him, can he play for me?
Right.
And I'll just speak over the top, right? Can he just be my ringer? I think he'd make quite an impression. My first week with the company, we were playtesting Portals at the time, and he it was it was a game of 5 or 6 of us, and everyone was ganging up on him, and he still beat everybody. And I found out afterwards he was also, while beating everybody, also beating everybody individually at individual games of chess while he was playing us. So yeah, so we've got to drag him in.
Yeah,
sometime.
but with the playtesting though, we tend to have lots of discussions and just to see how people feel when they play the maps, as well as make it kind of skill based. So we've got a specific game designer who will do the kind of a first design pass on maps based on his knowledge and understanding of the game and what he thinks would be fun for most players. But then we'll do quite a lot of rounds of playtesting of the maps with the QA team, and they're Josh helps with that, but our QA team also, we've got some very kind of senior members there who've been playing the game for a really long time and working with us for a really long time. So we'll kind of go based on their assessment of the if it's a fun map to play for higher skill levels, grandmasters. And then we also love to get feedback from the community. So we've been doing more beta testing since about mid-2022 and trying to get all the maps in front of our beta testers who are sourced directly from the community. We love to get that feedback just to make sure that the maps are going to be fun for you guys, especially the higher skill players. So that's probably the best way to articulate how we kind of account for that.
Yeah, and just as an aside, I would say that our community run tournaments are always. I'm super vocal in trying to get as many people to join us as possible. Right? I love it. I have a ton of fun. So that's one of the things I really represent for, and we would absolutely love to have the devs come play with us if you so choose. Right? The invite is always there. Please, please, please come and have fun with us if you can find the time. Okay. What does the team focus on when designing a new map outside of things like making it unique / art wise? Do things like pathing, card blocking, number of connections influence the design? Or are you guys thinking of that kind of secondary? Do they take a back seat to the theme?
So with this one, it depends on the map. With the June maps, we probably had to be a little bit more, prioritize the theme a little bit more, just because we're trying to be very true to the IP. But they definitely don't, things like the connectors, that kind of stuff doesn't take a backseat at all. In fact, we've redesigned maps if they're not playing well completely visually, because the most important thing to us is that it's fun to play. It needs to look nice too, and we want it to look really cool and have a really good concept and story if we can include that. But at the end of the day, we want the map to play well, so that's always going to be the priority.
Right on, yeah. I would imagine that kind of segues nicely into the follow-up here. There are a couple of maps like the Great Wall on Qing Dynasty that has kind of a unique mechanical difference in addition to, an original pathing. Do you guys have any more plans for unique concepts, kind of like that Great Wall in Qing Dynasty that incorporates maps with design elements that no other map has?
So not for any of the immediate. Oh no, I have to do my turn and speak. Not for any immediate maps that are upcoming. But I guess it's all hands on deck at the moment for our multiplayer overhaul, which everyone knows about. And the way we're doing that, I just missed my turn. The way we're doing that is it involves a lot of kind of rewriting of some of the core game logic, just to open us up to be able to do some really cool things on maps and maybe have some more unique features or environmental elements in maps at some stage, not in the immediate future, but way down the line. It's definitely something we'd all be interested in doing, because it would be a really cool addition to the game, I think.
Oh yeah, I agree. And I also say, more maps the better, right? I'm really happy to see them being produced with regularity. That must actually take a ton of work, so it's really really rewarding to have new content every couple of months. That's much appreciated. I'm sure not just by me. Moving on from maps, we'd like to ask about communication. Are you guys thinking about implementing a chat feature? Could it be limited, perhaps, with some sort of age restriction?
I think we've talked about this, but at the moment, we want to create like a family safe gameplay, and so we've decided just to stay with the emotes at the moment and not allow any like direct chat system. But I think we plan on adding a bit more like emotes down the line, so that we can allow players to have more expression and communicate with other people in a safe manner.
Yeah, and I mean that's the real crux of it, right? Is that I know a lot of folks maybe have a expectation of Risk being a lot about the ability to communicate, and if we were able to communicate with each other just a little bit nicer, that would go a lot more easy. But
Yeah.
I think this is the real concern, right? Is that we want, I would assume you guys would want the widest possible audience, which means that you do have to put some limits to the, the possible levels of vitriol that could be spewed when somebody's bonus gets broken.
Yeah, it's easy to take this for granted, but like once you've got free text chat in a game, you like the moderation burden becomes enormous, and like I think it was when we implemented the like canned messages you can send, that seems to have been received pretty well, and that was sort of the first batch of those. So we're probably I'm hoping we'll implement more of those. Maybe I think one of the questions involved that we got involved making them like mode specific or contextual to the kind of game you're playing, which would be a pretty cool idea.
If we had a button that would click to open and populate all of those at once, even, right? Like the things I would look for is one of the big things I think we're missing from the Alliance chat as an example is the question, right? Do you want to do this with me? Now the community has kind of worked with a series of thumbs up and thumbs down. Hey, hit them, yes, no, yes, sort of thing, to kind of suss out that confirmation. But to just have things like, right now we have I'm sorry, which as a red-blooded Canadian, I'm happy to see at the very base of the chat options. But that's something that I've really liked to like to advocate for historically, is give me a sorry, just in case. Nobody's perfect, right? So as far as emotes go, then, are we looking to add more emotes or phrases, even if only for certain modes, to make communication easier?
Yeah, definitely. So emotes are on the cards eventually. We want to just add some more canned responses we haven't specifically spoken about, but I think, obviously once we're through kind of the crunchy part of our development this year, there's a whole bunch of things we want to do. And we know the community want better ways to be able to communicate, and we want to facilitate that as much as we can without going down the kind of direct chat feature route. So all those different things, emotes, canned responses, and even different ways to use them, we'll definitely be considering.
Nice. Yeah, more communication would help as far as a lot of, I would say, this game at the highest level, once you get over understanding dice and probability, is just how do you negotiate with people. So the ability to communicate while obviously having, real sensible moderation concerns is key to, improving the user experience of this game at the higher level. Do we have plans for a chat log to see past sent emotes in case you missed them? Like, could we add that maybe to the battle log?
No plans right now, but if it's requested, obviously something we can consider. But yeah, with some of these, I know we've had a lot of questions of sort of, are there plans to implement this feature? Right now it is really just core focus on getting all our infrastructure overhaul, getting the rewrites that we need to get done. And then after that, kind of reassessing where we're at and what's now possible with the kind of 4.0 version of Risk. So yeah, again, no hard and fast plans for that specific feature, but we're going to sort of be reassessing everything towards the latter half of this year once we're done with 4.0, and seeing what we can actually do and what features are being requested and what we want to do as a dev team as well. So lots of things to think about, basically.
Well, and seeing as how you brought it up, what can you tell us about, and obviously nothing that you can't, but what can you tell us about the network overhaul plans?
I'll let
Alrighty,
Stu
so yeah, so let's
I'll let
yeah.
you take this one.
So we can just block out the next 60 minutes, right? Robbie and I have got this. So yeah, like the amount of code that we're touching here can't be understated. Like obviously, like Risk was originally built as a very different game. Like so it didn't have networking or anything. So networking was sort of tacked on. A few years after the fact. There we go. I'm defeated. Fantastic. None of my alliances worked out. It's almost like my teammates know not to trust any alliances they're making in the game. Jeez.
I just say interject. You requested an alliance, and then you immediately attacked my territory. So if you're gonna do that, like,
But so okay. So we sort of began the multiplayer overhaul, realizing like our core issues were like security, games, and like network stability. And the biggest part of it, so that was our first concern, and the biggest part was designing what we needed that would help us like faster iterate with new features and improvements, and also like react by owning our own networking, owning our own servers more. So we designed like a server authoritative solution, which we spent months doing like prototyping and like solution design concepting, and we just live for a long time, like especially Dawn and Robbie and I just live in like flowchart diagrams and pictures to each other, and it looks very like murderboardy, strings and weird notes that seem confusing everywhere. But it's been really exciting because we're doing it the best way we possibly can, which is our own servers, our own server code, and we're also I shouldn't say completely. We're rewriting or refactoring much of the game code because all of the game logic used to run on the client, which is why which is the cause of a lot of instability and cheating issues and stuff like that. So moving all of that so it could run, locally or on a server, it's an enormous undertaking, but it's been really fantastic for us because it's a chance to do it the way you would want. It's a way to do it to build it the way you would really want to, knowing what Risk is and what we hope it will become. So the thing I keep saying the thing I had written on a sticky note, if I ever had to explain to someone why it's so much work, is it really is an investment in the future of Risk. We're really in the thick of it right now. Robbie can probably.
Yeah, I think you've said the main part, which is the Risk originally was a client-only game, and it's to explain the difference is the original Risk sent status messages, as in this is the state of the game. So when you had a zombie attack and you were also doing your draft phase, which immediately followed a zombie outbreak, then those two messages were all sent at exactly the same time to all the users. We can't do that. We need to split it off into here is the zombie attack, here is the outcome of the zombie attack, here is the territory I'm attacking, here is a response to the attack. All needs to be individual messages that go through. So we're changing the underlying technology in a very significant way. On the other hand, that gives us a lot more control over what we're going to be doing in the future. So when previously we may have, for example, we talked about emotes in chat or in battle logs. When the emote happens, that could have been mixed in with some other message. Oh, by the way, an emote has happened. Everything was sort of mixed in because it was all you needed for a client-only driven game. But now we're splitting off here the message. Here is the emote. Here is the attack. Everything will be separate. So theoretically, we should be able to potentially put that into battle log if we could find a nice way of doing it. There's the other bit that we had. Stu was concentrating on the actual communication. We also have the whole infrastructure behind this, servers that we host to make sure that they're all secure, they're resilient. We try and have Risk as 100% uptime game. It's not possible for 100%, but we try our best. We don't want it to stop multiplayer games because we need to do a server update. So we need to make sure that we can do server updates behind the scenes without anyone ever noticing. So there's a whole process of testing and coding and resilience going on. If a server dies, computers do die. If a server dies, then a new one just pops up and no one ever notices. That's our aim. There's a lot of technology that's going into doing this overhaul.
Yeah, that does sound like it. That sounds like
Yeah.
a massive, massive shift. Do we
Yeah,
do we
the
like
Stu said-
Arakeen Residence as well? Was that the other one we wanted to play?
Yeah, I think that was Stu's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was sort of the
You just
opposite.
throw it
Actually.
up.
It's the one that I'll never be good at because it's such an intimidating map. But let's do it.
This one? Why? What's so
Right.
intimidating about
I'll lose anyway.
it? Well, not with that attitude. I mean, like, it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You can't count yourself out yet.
It's very, I don't know. It's I don't know. It's probably because it reminds me of the movie a little bit. Like there's not a lot of really obvious, easy bottlenecks. Like no matter which
it's
sort
fairly
of quadrant
symmetrical.
you're going to take.
Right.
Yeah, like you're gonna be like fighting on 3 fronts at the beginning, so it's a real bloodbath.
All right. Well, I mean, some bloodbath can still be fun if you're the one.
Yeah.
You're the one drawing
depends
the
if you're the
blood,
path or the
so to
water.
speak. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
We need an ID. Where's the ID gone?
can continue whereabouts we were. Okay, so we have a couple of concerns.
2YVYK.
Oh, sorry. What is it again?
2YVYK.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Can I show you guys the stats to the people briefly? Do you have any stats? No, you guys play on other accounts, right?
Stats
No.
4? Oh,
In
Development
Risk.
account.
In
No.
yeah,
Risk.
these
Yeah.
are development accounts.
It's just
Yeah, staging, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Ready up, please. Ready up. So we have a number of concerns, and these ones have been boiled down to things that you guys can address. So, number one, are there any problems to solve the stalemating nature of Risk? Would SMG consider adding a draw feature where players can propose a draw in a game that has stalemated?
So this question we had a lot of discussion about actually, and I guess there's a couple of ways we're trying to approach it. So one of them is with even just with our map design for like future maps. But a draw feature, like it's not something we thought about, but when it was suggested, we're like, oh, that could actually be really cool. Again, it's something we need to consider alongside the features we've already got planned and like prioritizing all that boring producer stuff. But yeah, it's not something we haven't ruled out, I guess. I think we're probably more interested in trying to tackle things like speeding up gameplay or changing game durations as the next kind of piece to tackle once we're through the multiplayer work. But yeah, for stalemate, I guess map design, we try and tackle it a little bit, but would look to new features in future if it's something the community wanted.
Yeah, I'm guessing that that would be. I mean, one of the ways that jumps out to my mind is some sort of alternative mode or alternative win con like mission Risk. That can help
which
stalemating.
very interesting to people on the team. So there's different ways we could tackle it, and I think it's just about us like figuring out what we want to do first, really.
Yeah, I think a draw is a cool idea. I don't actually know where I land on that. I'm of two minds. But when I read that question at the first glance, it was like, are there any plans to stop the stalemating nature of Risk? It's like, well, stalemating's in the nature, right? So the implication that it's kind of inherent to the game a bit.
Yeah, I think someone said, well, I guess players need to take a risk. But
Oh boy, never heard that one before.
Yeah, part of the discussion we had.
Okay, so obviously the devs are aware of the issues with capitals. Are there plans to look into the dice rolls on balance splits for caps?
Right, so since the last few months, since we've been doing as I said, like we've been refactoring like enormous swaths of the app and moving all the logic that used to run only on the front end in the actual app to a to a more of a headless environment that could run locally on a server, and part of that is dice as well. So as we've sort of been porting the dice, we've realized that some of the changing context now will affect what our options are with dice. See, like in the past, the dice, particularly, like it seems like a lot of the issue people have had with Blitz is the large scale approximations used for very large battles. Because this was originally, these algorithms were written, 5 to 7 years ago for, and intended to, to not slow down, low end devices from back then. So obviously, the context has changed, and a part of that will be interesting. I can't be sure about it yet, but is we had like a built-in caching system. Like we pre-calculated. I'm going to have to try and pretend to take a turn. We had like a cache of like pre-calculating like the odds of specific configurations of battles from say 0 or like 1v1 all the way up to every iteration up to 50v50 or something like this. And that was as much as you could as could have been fit in at the time. But now we're moving to a server. We theoretically have options like building optimized caches of the results and chances of many more configurations, potentially feeding from live battles and things. So there's a lot of it's not going to be a very satisfying answer, but since the context for these approximations has changed completely, we're very likely going to be able to revisit like at the very least what threshold they engaged in, or even doing away with some of the like the extrapolation technique is the one I think people have issue with mostly, where it's a very large battle, so it's scaled down. The battle is scaled down, but in proportion, and then the results are extrapolated up, which is why people feel like it leans towards extremities, because maybe that upsets like the median result that you'd get. So so to put it quickly, like we'll be able to revisit dice code in general to do with the approximations. Once we've had more, once we've seen how it's running on the servers and what our options are with caching and things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something it'll have to be a fairly calculated dive into it, because we've got to be we want to be very careful that we're not making it any worse. So we'll have to do like our own. Yeah, we'll have to do like our own tests and simulations, and we've got unit testing and things like this to test these results. But we'll have to like figure out like what are the shortcomings of the existing solution very accurately, like with very large sample sizes, and then come up and then see if we can do better with like better caching, less approximation, these sort of things. But it is something we're aware of, and like I said, like dice is something that we've had to revisit anyway for the multiplayer overhaul.
Yeah, so you will have a chance to look at it at least. Yeah, I just want to explain briefly for those who aren't super in tune with the dice. One of the issues with capitals, or the reason this question is being asked, one of the issues with capitals is you sometimes end up with extremely unlikely events occurring as far as probability goes, because they're using this approximation rather than doing the entire rolling 1,000 troops into 1,000 capital. You're not going to do that. You're going to calculate it and then extrapolate, and that can, from time to time, result in very unlikely things occurring more frequently than you would expect them to. And people who play a lot of Risk are fairly in tune with probability, so you probably get this a lot. But I'm glad to hear that it's going to get worked on and ideally visited and thought about. So that is some reason for optimism.
We have to be honest, though. Whilst we're very, very wary of changing that code because of, like, say, the impacts. So we won't be touching it until we've got the multiplayer stuff done. Okay.
There's an order of operations here. We have to get the multiplayer first.
Yeah. We can't risk breaking something.
Do you have a sense? Do you have a sense of how soon that's going to be?
Yeah, so we haven't got dates to give you just yet, but we've got some set times now for when we want to start doing testing. So because we're changing quite a lot, we obviously want to do some very controlled testing with people who know the game the best, being the community and the beta testers. So we're actually planning an alpha test, which is really just going to be quite simple, but checking that all of the kind of refactoring or rewriting of the app, the code in the actual game and the gameplay logic is working as intended in an alpha test that we want to get out around June. And then around July, we want to get everyone in for an actual beta test of the new multiplayer system. So obviously things can change, but that's what we're aiming for at the moment. We're trying to be really careful with this overhaul because we don't want to, it's obviously very complicated. It's changing a lot of the game, rewriting a lot of fundamental core parts of the game. So we want to see how our testing goes with the community first, make sure everything's looking really stable, working as intended. And then that's when we'll settle on our release for that update.
Okay. And as far as feedback goes, the community at large, but also creators and tournament organizers such as myself, and I know Kyle has been very adamant as well. We would be very happy to have any opportunity to work with you guys on a design level or just talk about it, because we love this game and we just want to see it be as successful as possible.
Yeah, we definitely actually want to open up the beta testing. Like, we'll open it up and let people apply again for these rounds of testing, because we want to get as many people, especially in different places around the world, because that's really good for our server testing, to jump on board. So we'll be opening that up again. Definitely invite all the content creators, all the tourney and event organizers to jump on board when we do that, because
that's wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so moving on from concerns, we have a couple of requests. I'm sure you're inundated with them. Request for a search bar for the maps. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, so search bar, interesting one. We don't have a plan for a search bar per se. However, we've just kind of, we're working on it in the background while the dev team is focused pretty much 100% on this multiplayer overhaul. We're doing a bit of work to redesign the map selection screen. So that is something we want to try and roll out. Not soon, but at some point sort of over the next 12 months. So changing that entire map selection screen, because it's not the greatest at the moment, and that the new designs are factoring in things like being able to have a list of the maps that you like to play, or having better categorization, more information on that screen as well. So there's lots of different things in there to help people navigate map selection a lot easier than it currently is set up. Search bar, not right now, but something to take into consideration.
Yeah, lots of little things, I'm sure. With infinite time, we could have an infinite map, and that's the next question here. How are we thinking about larger maps? The largest map in the game is Command Base C1X at exactly 100 territories. Have you guys thought about creating bigger maps?
Yes, is the short answer to this question.
Cool.
So we do want to try and get some bigger maps in. Again, the June ones, we wanted to be as true to the story and the film as possible. But obviously we've got our own maps to work on now. So we're hoping to get some bigger ones in. And we do keep track of what's most popular, what the most played maps are, and then what size they are, to see what you guys like to play. So it's definitely, we're very aware that the big maps are being requested.
Okay. The corollary with that, to my mind, would be if we have an enormous map, we might need to fill it with more players. What are the chances of having a mode with more than 6? Is that possible? Network overhaul first, of course, but would that be something that we could foreseeably see?
Look, it's not impossible, I guess, and with all the rewriting that's happening at the moment, that's why we're doing it. So things like this are not in the realm of impossibility, and we can actually legitimately consider them. So again, no plans right now. I think it's probably going to be the same answer with a lot of these requests.
Sure.
yeah, we definitely like. There's all different types of things that we could do to increase the number of players on a map. You know, I know team play is something that people talk about, and that could be fun to explore. We haven't explored a lot of these ideas, so you know, it wouldn't be something that we've got on the roadmap ready to go. But it's definitely something we want to discuss as a team. Is different how to get different numbers of players in games or different configurations of players. Like, what can we actually do now that we've got a more robust multiplayer system? So that's going to be a really kind of exciting time for us at the end of this year as a team to be able to sit down and go, okay, it's all looking really good, multiplayer systems working really well. What can we actually do now? So I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know if the rest of the team is, but I know a lot of people said they are.
Well, while you're blaming the multiplayer system, it's not actually the multiplayer system we're improving. It's actually the core of the game.
The game, yeah.
The core of the way we send messages, the way we contain and hold data about what is going on and what we want to do, and that will actually just make enhancements or add-ons easier for us to do. Of course, some of the things you're talking about actually go outside the core of the game, such as keeping extra data or processing completely new bits of information. But yeah, the multiplayer stuff will actually open up a lot because it's not just multiplayer; it is the core game.
Core game as well, yeah. Good call out, Rob.
And there'll be some unique design challenges when you have. I can't go 30 seconds without reminding everyone of async multiplayer, but like lots and lots of players or enormous maps is the sort of thing where I'd really want to have async multiplayer working for it, because imagine being, I don't know, like someone we heard the other day what the longest recorded game, or at least that we're aware of Risk has ever gone on for was it hours or days? Yeah,
oh, it's got to be over 24 hours.
Yeah, there was one. Someone mentioned there was one that went for more than 24 hours, which just blows my mind. Just the logistics of how that works for anybody. But yeah, I guess what we said, like a lot of the focus on the core of the game with the networking. That's why it's such a big endeavor, because it's restructuring the game not to be like a local game and then tacked on multiplayer, but everything is treated as if it's a multiplayer game, basically. Like every action you perform is performing the same way offline as it would online, which from a dev point of view is really exciting, because it means that the code execution will become much more linear. Like there'll be less bizarre edge cases that you can only get by the stars aligning and this player joining in that order or whatever. Like much less obtuse bugs is at least the goal.
My bonus.
Can I just point out, I'm really disappointed in this game because I started in a really strong position. I've blown it by missing 2 moves because you keep asking questions, Pete.
I'm slick. I'm slick like that. That's all.
Oh, my move! I gotta go.
Part of my plan. Yeah.
I keep thinking naturally we're all just going to gang up on Pete, right? But somehow
you should. I highly recommend it. If I were you, I would. Have you guys thought? Have you guys thought about any new game mode? Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Just keep answering the questions. All right.
Rob, trail.
Yes, it happened. But seriously, have we been thinking about game modes? Like, I think one of the things, if I could put my tournament organizer hat on for a moment, one of the things that would help us immensely, probably the single most thing that would help us run more viable Risk competitions is more modes, right? Just different win cons. We don't often see a lot of speed blitz, but things like 70% is highly represented. If there was something, I figured as much. If there was something with caps that could solve it from being an intractable stalemate, and then the other thing is zombies is always very popular. So we tend to see 3 of our modes be overrepresented, I would say, in competition. What do we have? What do we have on the horizon?
on the immediate horizon, so we don't have a solid list, but game modes is something that we have a pretty large backlog of ideas that, again, we want to sit down and go through and go, all right, what can we do now and what do we want to do? So I think that will be, it's the next kind of logical step for us, is to start rolling out new game modes probably from next year.
Awesome.
You know, around that time. It wouldn't be, I don't think we'll be getting them in this year. We might, but probably not. So I think from next year we'll start seriously looking at what game modes we want to add in, because it is something we've spoken about, and I think it's something we all enjoy doing as well. It's fun to create those kind of things that can change the core gameplay and make the maps, give the maps a little bit more longevity, because there's so many more different ways to play them.
Yeah.
And there's also, I mean, some of those questions include some really interesting concepts, like mix and matching modes a little more, like, which is something that it'd be interesting to see if that was feasible. Like,
we
let's
have
say zombie.
had such a great time with Cap 70. So what we've done, we just, we play fixed capitals or we play progressive capitals, but you have the alternative win con of you just figure out, tally up what 70% of the board is. And then in our tournaments, if that threshold is met, the game is considered won. And I love that, because the extra velocity of the extra 2 troops that the caps give you allows you to potentially, reach that 70%. Kind of, it can be kind of explosive for what is otherwise thought of, caps as kind of a slow mode. But yeah, lots. I know. I'm sure you're inundated with options, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so
we have a huge sheet of all the ideas together. It's actually quite a scary sheet. One day
I would love to see it. I would love to.
We've
see
got
It's
to
about
rattle
like
it down.
200 slides, right?
Yeah.
It's huge.
200 and counting, Dom.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's quite a big one. Takes a while to open up as well.
Is someone gonna wipe Pete out in that corner, Rob? Where do you
I
keep
can't.
I'm trying to.
I can't.
So you got to break yellow. He's going to win the game.
I've got no cards because I missed 2 turns when I didn't do any attacking, so I'm missing down 2 cards. So I'm not getting my troops otherwise. And then Pete got 10 troops, shoved them in the corner up there.
I did. I'm trying to hide. Don't kill me,
Sorry.
and I'll make it worth your while.
Oh, look at me! I'm still on the board. Must be nice.
How about I give you one of these? How does everyone feel about that? Just good vibes through and through. Come on. Okay. Moving on, we have a question about the ranking system. Is it possible to have separate leaderboards for different game modes? And I would say, I mean, the obvious answer, I'm sure it's possible. The question is it desirable? Is it something that you guys have been considering?
Different ranking leaderboards or different statistical leaderboards?
I think it's for different modes. So there is a cohort of players that I'm actually not sold on what side I fall, that think that it's just impossible to come up with a fair general rank for Risk. And in lieu of that, what you might want to do is separate the leaderboards by mode, right? This is the best fixed world on player. This is the best caps player, etc. What do you guys think about that?
We do make available certain leaderboards for different game modes, which is just the pure stat. It's not the ranking style leaderboard. It's just a statistical leaderboard. Who played the most, won the most. Even right down to the number of troops lost, troops beaten, and things like that. They're available. They're not actually inside the game. They're on a web site that we have behind the game. You can get there from the leaderboard. So we do make quite a lot of those stats available. As for a ranking system using those, thank you, bye-bye. A ranking system using those stats, we haven't considered. Again, we could put that into the pile if there was enough demand for it. One of the things we also want to always bear in mind is it's not just the multiplayer users we're trying to keep happy, they're the single player. Most of the people who play Risk, Global Domination, are single player games. And we want to be able to give them the experience and the stats that keep them interested as well. So ranking doesn't really help them. So we have to balance providing you with the tournaments and the ranking numbers. So we split the FFA off from the 1v1 games, for example. But we also need to give some an experience of completion or success for those players that just play single player games on their own, and ranking will not help them directly.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's most of these questions, I think folks have to understand, most of these questions just involve trade-offs. So it's really ultimately just a matter of what are you guys able to do versus what is it worth, right? What is the expected payoff for the effort involved, and who is the target audience? And I can imagine that balancing all those forces is fairly challenging. Okay, I love this question. This is something that is very near and dear to me. What is SMG doing to try and grow the game from a player-based perspective? Oh no!
Yeah, so
Don't do it!
What?
No!
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. Welcome to the bench, mate. I've been warming it for you.
Had to be done. Had to
we
be
got you
done.
with your favorite question, Pete. All right. So in terms of growing the game, we again, like I sound like a broken record, but really the whole point of getting the multiplayer, system and refactoring the game and getting it all working really well is so that we can invest in expanding our audience, knowing that the game is suitable for them. If we're gonna kind of branch out into more multiplayer features, we want to make sure we're able to support those players enough. So once we sort of hit that sort of July, August period is when we're going to be kind of sharing our roadmap for what that looks like. But for now, sort of the key focus is to get the game to a state where we can invest in growing it. And we really love what all the content creators are doing, and you guys do a lot to kind of get the game in front of people, especially new players, which is really, really cool. We did our kind of tutorial overhaul last year to make the game a little bit easier to learn once you first start. We've been doing kind of these partnerships are super exciting because it means we can get the game in front of people who might, be a Dune fan but never played Risk, but enjoy the game. So we've kind of got a lot of different channels that we're pursuing at the moment. And then once we're through kind of our core development work on the infrastructure of the game, I guess is what we can call it, then we want to look at, okay, what can we do to expand out, who's playing Risk and what can we do to support them?
And it's been 30 seconds, so I've got to mention it again. Some of the features that we're doing all this for, I actually believe are, will grow an audience. Like I very firmly believe that in a turn-based, especially on anything that feels like a tabletop game, async multiplayer is another audience, in my opinion. Like personally, there's people in other time zones who I would love to be able to play, in like a play-by-mail style way, that I just wouldn't be able to get to tear away an hour of their lives to play with me in real time.
Yeah.
So there's things like that, and also things like being able to support spectators better and things like that should help us with community, with more community engagement in games and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, spectating would be awesome. Okay, so I have an idea for a zombies game. We're gonna use a Dune map, but problem with zombies is we lose a player. So is that okay? Can I ask someone to sit out for just one game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Rob,
Yes.
I think Rob actually will need to jump shortly.
Yeah?
So
this is designed to be a quick one.
Okay.
And this is designed to be about as lucky as possible. So we call these settings Zombies Roulette. And we use a really, really small map. So I picked a reasonably small map, but one of the Dune maps, of course. And here we go. I'll post the code. And unfortunately, it is a 5-player game. So whomever draws the straw can sit out. But RTB
I was out first, so I'll sit
5A.
What's the code?
RTB 5A. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. We're getting the devs play zombie roulette, folks. But on Air Key Resident. So it's the same map that we just had, except zombies, fixed, true random, unstable portals, fog and blizzards, and alliances. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen. So we were talking about just now, talking about growth, and I think my sort of accidental experience in that regard has been a bit miraculous. Like I've been really, I basically fell in love with the Risk community. Right, I've been a passionate lover of our community, of this game, of competitions, and only then, after really dumb luck, finding ridiculous success on YouTube and Twitch, and thank you all for being here, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us and watching and asking the questions. Only then have I discovered that there's a lot more folks like me than I thought. So it's a blessing. It's something that I'm very proud of, that we have such a wonderful community, and that's sort of my angle, to try and quote unquote grow the community, grow Risk from a player base perspective. And thank you guys for for being a part of that too, right? Thank you so much for all the work you do behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm really grateful to the community, because I know you guys really hold the game up in such high esteem and push it out to people all over the world, especially with our streamers. So and it's really cool to see all the tourneys every time. Lucy comes to me and goes, "Oh, we got a new tourney. Can we do some prizes?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course, let's go." It's amazing for us to see how passionate everyone is. So the feeling is mutual, I think, from us.
Awesome. Yeah, and in addition to that, I also just wanted to say thanks for SMG. Helped us out with the Kilpede Open 2, which is the largest Risk tournament in history. It was pretty cool to say. Helped us out making our maps the map of the week. So thanks for that as well. It is much appreciated.
And we're definitely happy to do things like that. So again, if there are other creators who want to do collaborations with us, just reach out. We've got a few people on Discord who are quite active. So Nick is our main community manager who's active on Discord. So you'll see him around. Reach out to him. If you've got an idea, let us know. We can't always say yes. Some things have other factors involved, but we're always happy to hear ideas for collaborations, especially with all different kinds of content creators or event organizers, tourneys, things like that. So we're there. Please chat to us. We want to hear from you. So
awesome. Okay, others, questions. Guys, so many questions here. How awesome is that, right? If there's any way to prove that we were invested as a community. Okay, if SMG doesn't have to work on bug fixes, network update monetization features, i.e. cosmetics, what prospective enhancements most excite or intrigue you?
Can I say it again?
yeah, go for it.
If you
It's been another 30 seconds. Yeah, async multiplayer. Come on.
Yes.
There's nothing more nerve-wracking than me than having a time limit to take a turn. I want to take a week. I want to go for a walk in the park and think about a move. So yeah, I can't wait to do that.
Infinite clock.
Yeah. I have there is a mode that we started working on about 2 to 3 years ago that Brett will remember very well. I can't say what it is because he'll get all excited. But there's something
just tell me privately. I won't tell anyone.
Not going to go there. But it's one of those ideas that's in the pool that I want to persuade everyone to get involved on behind the scenes. So yeah, I've got my own personal goals as well for the game.
Excellent.
Yeah, it would be a good one. I'd be excited to do that.
I think mine's map specific modes. If we can add different conditions to maps that change them up. The pipe dream silly idea was a dragon breathing fire across a map, but that's kind of the gist. Right?
Environmental hazards. I'm all. That's actually what we've done here, right? We've turned the zombies into a very serious dragon breathing fire over everybody.
I like a bit of chaos to the game. I think it's fun.
Yeah. I think for me, different kinds of AI that reacts to what you do as well. I think that'll kind of make the game a bit more interesting as well.
Improving the bot, sure.
That was one of the old ideas that's been around for a while. Is they actually made me really excited about joining the team was the idea of at some point testing like machine learning AI and training it against the other bots or training it against players. Because I just had this idea that wouldn't it be cool if you gave it a name, treated it like a character, and made it like a challenge to beat it. You know, that kind of a thing. It'd be really cool to experiment.
So, like an arch enemy, almost.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing I've always been interested in the idea of pitting like brute force chess style AI against a machine learning model driven AI, to see how one would train the other and whatnot. But the idea of like really difficult AIs that we make it like a challenge to beat them. You know, like treat like I don't know, like a
scenario kind of thing.
Yeah, make it like an event to beat this guy. That would be really cool.
You get extra
You
rank.
could even
points or
have like
something.
alliances, like 4 players versus this strong AI kind of thing. I'm not sure.
Okay. Let's talk about challenges. What has been the greatest programming challenge for the team? Something, a feature or a bug that took the most effort to iron out, and can you talk about the process behind what that was like?
I take this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Cheats and hackers. Yeah, as the amount of work that has gone in to try and identify and trap people who abuse the game. To be honest, because there's no other way of putting it. It can't be underestimated how much work has gone into trying to handle that situation. We want to give our genuine users, which is 99% of everybody out there, we want to give the genuine users the best possible experience. But it's probably 50% of our work on the back end is free. In other words, not regular updates or stuff like that. Is free. Is spent on trying to find better or more accurate ways of identifying and trapping and handling those, game abusers.
Well, if you guys ever want help with a net to catch the snipers, I get a whole lot of them, so we can do some sort of entrapment style on these folks. I'm sure you're listening right now. You fun people. I'm gonna get you. You're gonna get me too.
We've worked on AI solutions. I know it's a buzzword at the moment, but with machine learning solutions with our hosting providers, we've tried to work on that. We've stuck with difficulties. The volume of data that we actually have is large enough on each of the game moves, but not accurate enough because of the way the back-end system works. As already explained, the status updates versus the actual moves. We will have more accurate data when we start tracking individual moves. We've tried with the AI, but it's very difficult to spot an alliance versus a colluder, and someone's colluding offline. We have systems in place, which I'm obviously not going to go into, but we know they're far from perfect. We are constantly working on trying to improve them, but it does take a ginormous amount of time. It's not just at our end dealing with the data. There's, everyone here will know Lucy, our customer support, who is handling these as best she can. It takes a massive amount of her time as well, and then in conjunction with us to get additional data. We don't want to kick the genuine users out of the game. It has unfortunately happened a couple of times where that does happen. We apologize, but if you can appreciate the amount of data that we have and the information, how fast we try and react to keep the game going for, say, 99% of the users, it's a challenge for us. It's a challenge we wish we didn't have. Congrats to those that know that the game can be abused. Any game can. Every game can. So congrats for finding it out. Of course, I'm being very sarcastic for those that aren't picking that up.
It was a bit dry.
But yes. That is the bugbear of mine, to be honest. We wish we could provide a better game, and you would have a better game with more features if we hadn't had to handle
Of course.
all of
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah. And I would echo
yeah.
that for the stream as well. I think the bad actors don't exactly realize that they're not only ruining it for other people or, trying to get a rise out of me, but they're actually, making me kind of want to stream less, and that makes less show for everybody. So
Yeah.
I often
you
have a message of positivity on the show, and it's something that I like to remind everyone it's much, much easier to destroy than to create. And that's kind of a theme of this conversation, the relentless effort that you guys are putting in to make this game as good as it is isn't invisible to me, because I have dedicated, this is March 2024, I've dedicated essentially 4 years of my life now with your game as my main hobby, and what a tremendous ride it has been. Like, I would have never imagined to be able to make a very reasonable living doing this sort of thing, and having fun and connecting with so many talented people around the world. I feel like one of the luckiest guys ever, and I do have to thank you guys, for the work you do.
Oh, we actually have the same on our side. We enjoy making this game.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth. So I've been in this before the game was released. I was right on the early phases. It's great to have seen how the game has progressed, developed, and yeah, it is wonderful to actually program on it. No, I mean, we at the end of the day, we can go home and know there's thousands, millions of people that have played this game, and we've hopefully made them a little bit happier. Although you're all defeating me now, so maybe not. But
Well, don't tell on yourself.
Oh, it's my move. No, yeah. So we do enjoy making the game as well. So we're glad to hear that you do enjoy it.
Oh yeah. Okay. What plans do you guys have? I mean, this is awesome. I think this is the third time that I've done a dev Q&A. What plans do you guys have to expand your interaction with the player base so that you can be in touch with the experiences and desires of the Risk community at large?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that we've got scheduled for this year. Like I mentioned, we want to kind of do a big stock take on like feature requests once we're through our 4.0 update. So we're looking at putting together a survey for players, like a big one where we actually collect, like I know we've got a lot of channels where we collect ideas, but just getting kind of an up-to-date sense check of what people are wanting now. Is going to be super helpful for us, so that's something to look out for. We obviously want to do more Q&As, so I think this year we set ourselves the goal of trying to get one out, every 2 or so months. So we did one earlier in the year, doing this one now. We'll do another one probably across a few different channels, just so we can hit different audiences as well. So people who might not be as active on the Discord, maybe we'll go out to Reddit or somewhere else, or do our own videos, like just more Q&A opportunities, because we do like doing these. They're super fun for the team, and it's good for us to answer questions directly. So we definitely want to do more Q&As, and we're open to doing that with other content creators as well as yourself, Pete. Obviously, we love playing with you, but if there's other creators who are interested, I'd encourage them to reach out to us. Same with events, so any new events that the community want to do, we're always happy to hear about them and see what we can do to get involved, be that setting up maps for you guys for a specific tourney, or just jumping in and doing any in-game prizes. We'll keep featuring streamers, so we have a streamer feature that we can do where we can schedule people in to be featured on the app, and we love doing that. So if there are any newer content creators, even if you're not as big as Pete, we'd still love to hear from you and feature you in the app as well. So we really want to kind of share the love there. But yeah, lots of other kind of little bits and pieces. So helping out where we can with events, working with content creators, Q&As, and then just putting out our own videos and trying to keep the roadmap out a bit more regularly so that you guys know what's going on and what we're working on.
And same goes to other Risk content creators and tournament organizers. I don't know if you guys, if you're kind of newer to the scene and you don't know me and you don't know what I stand for, I just want to be on the record to say I do really love this community and I want to stand by that. So I want you guys to reach out to me, say, hey, Pete, I'm hosting this tournament. Can you can you shout it out? Can you get me some signups? You know, or ask me some questions about Twitch or YouTube. Or, you know, I'm basically an open book to the Risk community. I'm here to help and support and be a positive force as much as possible. How about, so we've had a couple of devs in my Twitch chat. If you guys have one or two more questions that maybe we haven't gotten to, Nick or I saw Lucy chatting earlier, throw them up because I'm pretty sure this game is almost over. Ready? You know I'm a tryhard, right? I had to do it. I wouldn't stand for myself. Now I just have to beat the zombies. Josh says, "Oh no, rip the dev team." Yeah, sorry guys. I regret nothing.
Can't say I wasn't expecting that. So
No.
Nick says, "Surprise Pikachu when Pete wins." Yeah, very surprised, shocking, even shocked and appalled. The only other thing that comes to mind is just to speak to. We have over 200 folks sitting here watching us. This video is going to get, you know, tens of thousands of views on YouTube. So, what's the one you guys said about the slider? Can we talk about the slider? This is the one that the audience is screaming at. Can we touch on it for a second? Yeah, the slider. Yeah.
Yeah, we've just we know kind of what the issue or the request is around the Blitz slider. Again, it's one of those features where we have to be really careful making a change because we do have to balance that kind of feature request with what's going to work for a majority of players in the game if it's something that permanently affects the Blitz slider, any change that we make, or we look, you know, we're also just a bit cautious about kind of splitting things out and making it too granular and overcomplicating it. So we've discussed it. We haven't really settled as a team on what we think the best course of action is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of where that one's at the moment.
All right. Well, I definitely want to be respectful of all of your guys' time. I want to say thank you very much for this conversation, folks. I know there is absolutely no guarantee or an expectation that, right? There's no obligation that you guys need to do this and chat with us. And there was a long period of time where the conversation was not as open. So just thank you very much. This means a lot to me. You know, this game, this community. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Pete. Like we want to be as open as we can. Really, we're not. You know, we all love the game and we're all working hard on it. So that's sort of the main thing for us is to make sure that the community knows that and knows that we just want to make it the best game possible for you guys. At the end of the day, that's our main goal. So it's really fun to come on and play, even if we do get destroyed by you or zombies. Although I think Dom won one of those. So,
yes, you teamed on me effectively one time.
That's true.
It didn't make me feel very good. So well done. My feelings, folks. The inner tryhard is weeping. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to stay on because I have the illustrious in-game play button for a couple more hours. So we're going to play a lot of Risk. But can we get a collective thank you to the devs chat? You guys want to just express our gratitude? I hope you guys, looking forward to a long string of successful conversations like this.
You just need to stop beating us, then we might play again.
Is that what it is? I just have to- as I said, I would happily throw the game, but I would tell the people I was doing it.
I practice against novice bots and everything. What went wrong?
Yes. Yes.
They don't
Anyway,
know, man.
thanks for inviting us, Pete.
Yeah.
Great to have a
Yeah,
chat again.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right,
Great,
be well,
thank you.
guys. Have a great morning.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
You too.
All
Have a
right.
good evening.
See you later. Bye.
See ya.
So
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. SMG Studios, the Risk Devs. How was that? I hope we got as much of your questions as we could. Right? Obviously, we couldn't get to everything. I'm trying my best. And there's a lot of proprietary information. There's a lot of things that they can't say or won't say, and I'd just like everyone to remember that there was a very long time where nothing was said. This is very much a step in the right direction. Yeah, so we're gonna smack the ever-loving crap out of the zombies, and then I'm gonna have a beverage, and then we're gonna see if we can do a little bit more promotion. So, yeah, I should have mentioned that I was very happy to. That was one thing I missed. I should mention that I'm very, very happy to be considered for some sort of design. Ooh, we break here, don't we? I just smack. We just go for smack time. I don't know. I don't think I have the juice, folks. Do I lose to the zombies? Oh no! Oh no! Don't worry, Pete. You never lose. You never lose to the zombies. You're the most undead guy ever. Oh no! Ladies and gentlemen. Well done, my friend. Oh, thank you. I'd like to say thank you to Leech for the raid there. I missed that. I haven't been as attentive to chat as I normally am. So thank you to Leech a little for that raid. Appreciate you. Thank you to Hen for the sub, to NPL Newmaster 69. Thank you to Paradox Salad. Thank you to everyone throwing down the biddies. I gotta fix my Streamlabs here because I'm not getting a record of the bit donations, but the support is very, very, very much appreciated, and you guys know that I certainly don't feel any obligation. Hey, thank you, Zango Bango. All right. I think it's fitting that nobody wins this game, but the relentless army of the undead. I missed a Q&A. Will it be uploaded to YouTube? Yes, it will. Yes, it absolutely will. And a dude's trade to boot. All right. No, I'm actually doing well. What is this? What are these dice? What are these dice, folks? Map is too small. Shall not defeat the zombies, not even with this amount of zeal. Becky says, can you ask the devs if the zombies have camera animations turned on, or did I miss it? You missed it. Hippocrypt says, I appreciate them actually communicating with the community about our questions and concerns. I understand they can't tell us too much at the same time. Many of the answers you would call political answers? Yeah. Yeah, that's, as I said, it's better than nothing. And I'll do what I can. That's what I can, that's all I can really promise to you guys, right? So, are the zombies even gonna kill me mercifully, or we don't even have the mercy? Ladies and gentlemen, stick around on Twitch, but we're done on YouTube. Let me say If you are interested in getting better at the game of Risk, I invite you to subscribe to my channels. Come along the ride with me. The Old Peteman has a daily show on Free Pete, a daily show on the Kill Pete strategy. I stream on Twitch. I'm very, very grateful that you guys would choose to spend your precious time with me. So thank you guys. All right, it's time for that 9 to go in. No, we wanted the 9. Mercy, zombies, please. There we go. And whoopah. There you have it, folks. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you to SMG for all of you on the path to world domination. Good games. Good luck.